All right, welcome back to another episode of Life Between the Sticks featuring Cody Cropper and myself, your host, Brandon. We are jumping in with another one. Week one is finally in the books. We had a Sunday game and a Monday game. Obviously, we didn't touch on those because we recorded before that. But we'll also then be doing some previews looking ahead at what's going to be happening in week two. Which is nice because then CONCACAF Champions League complicates the picture already this early in the season. Then last, we will look at MLS.com, actually MajorLeagueSoccer.com, their power rankings. And we'll have to go ahead and give our own opinion on what we think is really going on there. But there were some pretty interesting games. So, of course, there might be some upsets and things like that. So before we get into it, Cody, you have a friend you want to talk to.
Red Ace Organics. It is a organic beet performance supplement. It improves stamina, increases oxygen intake, and improves cardiovascular health. Definitely something that I recommend, especially if you are playing, training, working out at altitude. It is a top supplement.
From Dwight Schrute.
Excuse me?
Dwight Schrute? Schrute Farms?
No.
He's a beet farmer.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Oh, come on. You're an athlete. You're on the road all the time.
Non-GMO project verified.
How did you not watch The Office?
Okay. Now I get it. I get it. Sorry.
I thought athletes only watched every TV show ever on the road.
No.
Not you?
Unfortunately, not me.
No, you're a college-educated man now. Of course not.
That is right. I am a college-educated man.
Congrats, Cody. Didn't finish high school, but you got your college degree.
I did, yeah. GED straight to a college education.
That's a whole nother story about your career path. But anyways, check it out. Like I said, Cody's just on here sharing brands and products that he uses to maximize performance every single day. So again, you're taking it from an athlete. His word, he uses it. Hit us up. We open Instagram up to questions, Spotify. Ping us if you want to know more about it. He will gladly tell you how he uses it. He's been pushing it on me for 2 weeks now. So I guess I just have to become an athlete.
Yep.
All right. Well, MLS Week one, there's a couple stragglers. So obviously there was always from the beginning going to be a Saturday game, right?
Sunday night game.
Or a Sunday night game. That is correct. So that was Seattle versus Colorado. 4-0 to Seattle. Jordan Morris of the brace, Christian Roldan opening, and Eber in the 53rd minute. Absolutely routed. Never really broke a sweat because everything that they tried seemed to come off for them. So any surprises here from your perspective? What stood out?
No surprises. Going into the game, I think you and I were texting back and forth, and I said that I believe Seattle is going to smack Colorado. I just had a feeling. It was nothing against Colorado. They have very good players. They have a great coach who is very good at what he does in Robin Fraser. However, I think Seattle at home is just one of those teams, and the atmosphere in which their fan base creates is probably top 3 in the MLS. So it's a very hard place to play, and Seattle are very good at home.
Seattle are good. I even remember last season when I was accidentally watching the MLS and Seattle were playing. I think it maybe was Seattle, Minnesota playoffs, whatever, but Seattle just know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're very well organized.
Is when you guys are playing them headed into the playoffs, I think.
When we played
with Vancouver.
In Vancouver,
yeah. Yes. But like Seattle in attack, they are so good with the fluidity, the runs, finding space. Yes. They know where each other are. And you saw it in this game.
Absolutely.
A couple of goofy goals, obviously with the Jordan Morris kind of like diving from his knees header on the goal line. We got the one that kind of the great save from the keeper popped out. He has the salmon header flopping out of water.
Fish out of water header.
Yes. But overall, I mean, like, hold on, Seattle. They with only 50% possession. I say only just because it's not like they had 70% and just pummeled Colorado.
Right.
They had 15 shots, 9 on target, and a 4.1 xG.
Yep.
They blew out Inter Miami, who I think had like a 2 something XG and absolutely crushed it.
Yeah.
They are clinical and they just were overwhelming for Colorado.
Agreed. And the most frightening thing is that they are missing Roy Diaz. And arguably he will be in the running for the Golden Boot. I mean, they have one of the strongest teams in MLS, and as long as they can stay fit, they will be definitely a playoff team and a contender for the Supporter Shield and MLS Cup.
I mean, Seattle are established. Everyone knows their role. They have players who have been in the league forever. Obviously, Fry's been there forever. Lodero's there. They've got the Roldan brothers. Jordan Morris, obviously, I think a lot of U.S. men's national team fans are maybe upset he went from Stanford to Seattle instead of trying to challenge himself. They know the league. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
Schmetzer has them organized so well.
He does.
Okay, great. Boring. What about Colorado? What do they need to do? You said you and Eli from This Week in MLS both said that they have an up and coming coach. You look at their roster here. We've got it pulled up. I mean, what can they do? What can they rely on to try to find some success this season?
I think they need to score goals. That's, a lot harder than it is for me to just simply say they need to score more goals. However, I think that is the final piece for them. I don't think you look at a handful of their performances from last season and go, they were that bad. You don't look at them and their performances and say that. You think, okay, maybe they didn't take their chances when they needed to. And in my opinion, I don't believe they have that out and out goal scorer who's going to bag you 15 to 20 goals a season.
All right. Well, I mean,
that's just my opinion.
It's obviously the hardest thing to do. I'd say Seattle's good about, splitting it up amongst different people. They create space for each other and they have a very fluid attack. It's gonna be, right? It's gonna be Robin Fraser, the manager's number one thing he's gonna have to figure out with them, because if you can't defend, you got to be able to attack so it pushes people back and respect you. With that being said, he's in a 4-3-3 now. We'll see how they kind of settle, but this is about as bad of a start to the season as you could write.
Yeah, I agree. However, going back to what I said earlier, I think that your first game of the season away at Seattle is a very tough entrance or welcome to MLS 2023.
Yeah, so you're grading on a curve.
Yeah, I'm going to grade them on a curve. I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and kind of chalk this up to one of those results and see what happens next weekend.
So Robin Fraser's message to the teams: all right, here we go. Week 2, season starts here.
Yeah. You obviously have a lot to learn from this game and a lot to apply to next week's game or this coming weekend's game. However, I think you kind of just say, all right, done and dusted. Let's put this one behind us and move forward.
All right. Well, the other game, which was delayed due to a snowstorm, Portland, it's kind of fun. They put out a bunch of content around getting the field cleared and the stadium cleared. You just got to see how much it was. So for safety, mainly for the fans and obviously for the players, they pushed it to Monday. Not that big of a deal. Hopefully,
not at all.
I think they pushed it early enough that Sporting Kansas City didn't have to travel there. They got to wait and probably got an extra day in KC, because it's not like you were training that weekend because it was so miserable.
Right.
Final score: Portland 1, Kansas City 0. Mosquera with the goal in the 6th minute. That's on me. I just texted you, great save, keeper looks good, and then right after that gets scored on.
Yeah,
that was unlucky. And I'm glad that I stopped watching shortly after, because it didn't look like much else happened in this one. But again, Kansas City, Peter Vermees just signed an extension. Kansas City had an unbelievable time with injuries last season, so they're kind of having to hit reset on the roster and kind of start really, really new this season. A tight loss on the road for them. They've got some new faces. I'll let you kind of pick if you want to start with KC or Portland.
I think we start with Portland. Obviously, a team playing at home, got the early goal, and I think may have gotten a little lucky to see that game, to see that victory out, to see that 3 points out. A few players that I didn't think would start, or one player I didn't think would start, is Bingham. Obviously, Ivicic was Eli's prediction for goalkeeper of the year. Statistically, I believe he was one of the best goalkeepers in the league last year. Bingham gets the start. Um, and I don't know, just one of those games for Portland. I think playing at home, they take advantage of home field and walk away with 3 points.
It's pretty close between the two teams statistically, not much to really pull away. I would say that Kansas City had 57% possession on the road, which is an advantage for them. Portland only had 7 shots, 4 on target to KC's 12 shots, 4 on target, and the XG is 0.5 for Portland Timbers. At least Kansas City generated 1.1, but that's why you play the game and you don't just run it off stats. But it was a very, I would say, tight affair. The fact that a right back, Mosquera is the one who gets the goal overall. There's not much between the two teams on the day, which is probably a good thing. If you look at Kansas City, Pulskamp getting start in goal. Obviously, Melly has been the longtime starter, but he had injuries last season. It looks like they might. I guess I texted you. Do you think now that Vermes has his contract extension, he has the green light to essentially overhaul a rebuild with Sporting? Or when you still see players like Zusi in here, he's going to just look to play his best 11 and it's not necessarily a rebuild?
Are you saying in terms of the goalkeeper position?
No, the whole team.
I think that Vermes has a system and he has his trusted players. Obviously, Tim Melia is one of them. Graham Zusi's another. I think Kyrie Shelton's been there for quite a long time. There are certain players that are on this roster that are very dependable, and those are some of them. That said, the goalkeeper position, with Pulskamp getting the start in this game and no Melia on the bench, tells me that Melia is maybe suffering from an injury that he may have picked up in preseason or one that carried over from last season. That said, I think Pulskamp played very well. Obviously, he'll be very disappointed with the goal, but he made some very good saves just before the goal and then throughout the rest of the 85 minutes, 86, 90 minutes, whatever else was left.
Yeah, young guy, right?
Very young, 21 years old.
Yeah, homegrown. I think they would love to find their next Tim Melia. Tim is unique, right?
Tim's very unique.
The way his play style, his stature, he's a brick shit house. He's short though, great at penalties. He has a very unique style that fit, and he's found a way to make it work.
Absolutely.
Right?
He's been very productive in Major League Soccer, and he's made an incredible career for himself. Like you said, though, he's very different. He's very unorthodox in some of his techniques, and I say that based on a textbook goalkeeper, right?
Of course, he doesn't.
He's
fit
very different.
Any of the
but
models,
he's
really.
very effective, and he's very good at what he does.
What I would say with Pulskamp being 6'4", 200 pounds, you were probably going to have to play and set up defensively different for him versus Amelia. And so now I think Vermes is going to have a choice to make. Do I want to go with Melia and kind of continue to play that way? Or do we want to progress and maybe change as a team our style and our setup? Are we more willing to let the ball go wide and put a cross in because we know Pulskamp is probably going to come collect? There's all these just different factors that go in. And, Vermes has been around forever. I'm sure he'll figure it out. But those are just kind of the changes. Like Pulskamp and Melia, I think I just wanted to make the point to everybody is they're not like for like replacements.
No,
they're going to play different.
Different.
The team needs a setup different. So there is kind of big decisions to be made, which way they want to go. That's all.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. And I think Vermes will have a tough decision to make in terms of what he wants to do. That said, the consistency of Melia over the years speaks for itself. And until he is unable to live up to what Vermes expects, I think Melia is the guy. But you never know.
Yeah, it is very interesting sometimes when coaches it seems like from the outside looking out of nowhere, boom, decision made. And the rest of us are sitting going, what? What happened? But hey, look,
No,
we
I
don't
agree.
know how much goes on in the training pitch, do we?
No, you don't. You don't. And it's just one of those things that what happens behind closed doors usually stays behind closed doors.
Yes.
And coaches make decisions because they are not only wanting what's best for the club, but winning, which is what's best for the club, is what's best for them as well. So they, at the end of the day, are making decisions based on what they believe is going to keep them in a job.
Yeah, obviously, job security.
Exactly.
Well, MLS has come out with the RBC Wealth Management Power Rankings Week 1, and no surprise, Philly by a mile. Even MLS can't help themselves.
No,
but
they cannot deny Philly.
It's going to happen.
Yep, I agree with that. I think based on their performance this past weekend, it was, it just speaks volumes. It's spot on.
LAFC is number 2 without having even played a game. So clearly they're still being respected for what they did last season.
Of course.
And understandable.
Yes.
Seattle are 3. I mean, look, you win 4-0. You're going to go towards the top. Cincy 4, Nashville 5, and the top 6, LA Galaxy 6, who moved up 2 spots.
I'm not sure how you move up 2 spots having not played a game.
I am right there with you. I just was going to try to scan real quick to see if there's anything else that kind of stood out for us, because I don't want to read all 29 teams.
I think
Austin dropped 5 spots.
I think 5 spots is a little aggressive.
They're down to 8.
Yeah.
Let's see if any big changes. Atlanta jumped up 4. Ooh, New England Revolutions jumped up 7 spots to 12.
I think that's, in my opinion, a little aggressive based on winning 1-0 away at Charlotte. Inter Miami jumped up 10
to 15. They were at 25 headed in the season.
What a jump.
FC Dallas dropped 8 to 17. They were in the top 10. They're now 17.
Agree. I mean, I wouldn't say that they deserve an 8-place drop, but they lost 1-0 to a Minnesota team that didn't really produce too much. That said, I think Minnesota's plus 6 places is deserved. I mean, I don't think they deserve to be in 24th.
The biggest winner, without a doubt, will be St. Louis City SC, who were dead last, and they are now 19th plus 10. And damn
Agreed.
Right they are.
Yeah, agreed. They shocked Major League Soccer, and the real question will be is, can they continue to climb the power rankings?
Yep. It's kind of like their season hasn't started yet. St. Louis is like, all right, season over. Thanks, guys. It was fun playing.
If we ended the season tomorrow, we would be in the playoffs.
Toronto dropped 10 spots from 10th to 20th.
In my opinion, that's actually that's good. I don't believe that they deserve to be in the top 10 after that performance. That said, I think 20th is a little aggressive.
Wow.
LA Galaxy shoots up 2 without having played a game, and you drop Toronto 10.
After losing 3-2 to DC United.
And they lost the game in the last 5 minutes.
98 plus.
Yeah, in the last 5 minutes of stoppage time. 8 minutes of stoppage time.
NYC FC were 12th, dropped to 21, losing, or 13 to 21, losing 8 spots. Clearly, there was a lot of hope for them, and it has just not manifested whatsoever. DC
Agreed.
up 4 to 22. San Jose stays at the bottom, so I'll rattle off the last few. They're in 23rd. Montreal dropped to 24. Charlotte FC dropped 7 spots to 25. Vancouver dropped 4 spots to 26.
And who are in the bottom?
Dynamo 27. Colorado 28, dropped 7.
Again,
and Chicago Fire has not played, and they are dead.
That's
last.
Unfortunate. Sorry, Chicago. That's tough.
Play a game, you'll jump up.
Yep. Play a game and win, you'll jump up 10 apparently.
Depends on the game. So super interesting. But again, this is going to be wild to watch all season and see just how it goes. Because, Seattle, can they hold on? Obviously, there's a long ways to go, but can they be a top 4 team in the league? We'll have to see. So again, this is coming right from MLS's website. Who's writing this? Oh yeah, Sam
Sam
Jones is writing these. So Sam Jones. If you got a question, go check with them. All right. Well, what we want to do now is look ahead at the games coming up in the league this weekend. Again, every single game will be on Saturday, so you just only have to block out one day. Keep it easy.
How many different time slots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different time slots on Saturday.
So plenty of time to run ads, Apple TV.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta make your money back somehow, right?
Do not interrupt. LAFC is going to be playing for the first time this season.
Yeah.
They're going to be taking on Portland at home. Is that right? BMO Stadium?
Yeah, BMO Stadium's
all right. Sometimes these league games are silly where I can't tell who's the home team based on who's first. So we're going to double check this.
Yeah. Yep. Home team will be on the left. Away team will be on the right because you look down Atlanta's at Mercedes-Benz.
All right, great. So what do you think? LAFC, Portland now has a win under their belt, albeit a 1-0. They're going to head on the road, short trip down to LA. This is their first time. What, I guess, thoughts on having an extra week, having built up, not played, and now having another week until you start?
I'm not sure. It's a difficult one to I guess comprehend unless you're in that situation. I would assume it depends on the team and the coaching staff and how they help the organization or help the team prepare. That said, they have a very good coaching staff at LAFC based on everything that I've heard and everything that I've seen with them over the last couple seasons. I think they'll be well prepared, especially to play at home in front of their fans. However, I think Portland could take it to them, and I fully expect, after keeping a clean sheet, David Bingham to start again, even though Jazzy is back and fit.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a change there based on the way it was. No Gareth Bale for LAFC.
Nope.
Doesn't mean they don't have a ton of firepower. It's just going to be a matter of, can they catch their form from last season quickly? Obviously, Carlos Vela being the franchise face there.
Yes.
Atlanta United at home to Toronto. So obviously, thank God for Almada. 2 goals in stoppage time. Rescued the victory for Atlanta against Montreal. Toronto, redemption time, but they're on the road again.
They are.
We'll have to see if they can bounce back.
And I think that that's going to be a tough game because Thiago Almeida will be feeling good. And if he can cause them any issues in midfield, I think that Toronto may struggle to adjust. That said, it will be interesting to see if Bob comes out any differently.
Yeah, I was just pumped the Golden Boot race real quick, and there are quite a few players on 2 goals with Almada. You had Carranza and Gazdag, the double from Philly, because they both had a brace, and then Jordan Morse from Seattle as well, as kind of leading an early race that will not end like that. Columbus is at home to DC. So obviously we just talked about Philly real briefly. They were on the wrong end of that one. They showed well, though, at times in this game. DC are coming off the high of winning 3-2. Can they be industrial? It's going to be 2 hardworking teams just grinding this one out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a real test for DC on the road. Columbus away is not an easy place to play. They've obviously done a full, I guess, turnover in terms of new stadium. I think they've brought in a new coach. They've brought in new players. It will be interesting to see how they respond to a tough loss against Philadelphia in their first game at home.
Mm-hmm.
But DC, I think, is going to go there and, bring that kind of English mentality with Rooney obviously being the head coach. Maybe try and snag a goal, sit back, absorb pressure, hit them on the counter. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out.
Miami, bit of a surprise at the weekend, winning. They take on Philadelphia. Anytime Philly's on the schedule, people are going to be watching to see the projected champions after getting second last season. What are they going to do? They're heading down to Miami. Again, what can they do in the road? It's their first road test.
For sure. It is their first road test. That said, I think Philly really takes it to Miami. I think it's Philly's game again.
Is that gambling advice?
That is not gambling advice. No, not at all.
Put the early odds on Philly. All right, Revs. Can this be the Cropper Derby versus Houston?
I mean, it could be one of them, sure.
One of many.
One of, I guess, many at this point.
New England home to Houston. Houston, you're just kind of poking them. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? I think the Revs, having been in New England, they have an advantage right now. Weather, stadium, everything is just, I think, in their favor right now. They obviously come off the 1-0 win at Charlotte. Houston coming off of a 1-0 loss. No, 3-1 loss at Cincinnati. And, their first two games are on the road. In my opinion, if Houston wants to get off on the right foot, they need at least a point out of this game. I think New England needs 3.
This is one of the paywalled games. But
everything else has been. New England's been in that game in the first week, and now they're in another one.
I'm just saying, and I was going to plug this, but again, most of these are going to actually be free or on Fox, on Apple TV. There are a handful that are still paywalled on MLS Season Pass, and boy, oh boy, New England Houston is one that you're going to have to pay for. Next up is New York Red Bulls versus Nashville. I'm excited for this one. Obviously, Nashville got the first game of the season. Walker Zimmer getting the first goal of the 2023 MLS season. Now they got to go on the road. Red Bulls, we're kind of waiting to see what they can do. And they're back at home. So you'd assume that they're going to get a little bit of a leg up. Are we going to see reigning MVP?
I think Mukhtar starts for sure. He looked fit. He got maybe 20 to 30 minutes against New York City FC in the opening weekend. That said, it is a game that I'm very much looking forward to because I think that there's a lot of expectation on both teams. I think they're both going to be playoff contenders. Nashville, obviously, on the higher side of the Eastern Conference playoffs. New York, maybe not so much. Maybe battling for one of those final spots. But it's going to be a good game.
I think we'll put out your predictions probably on Friday or games to watch. Because we always want to kind of see if we get some more team news based on injuries, who's available. But I think that's probably an early circle on the docket, especially if you look at the other 6:30 games.
Yep.
All right, Orlando hosting Cincinnati. Again, a lot of promise with Orlando. Didn't quite really kick off maybe as much as people would have liked. They created a ton, couldn't get the goal. Cincy getting a really positive result at home against Houston. Now they're on the road.
Yeah, this is, for me, another game to watch, early contender for game to watch. I think both teams are going to be in the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Orlando, like you said, didn't get off on the right foot, but they're at home. Their stadium, their climate, the atmosphere that they play in is an advantage. And I'm sure they are hoping that they can get down to Explorer or welcome FC Cincinnati to Explorer Stadium and really put them in the hole.
Yeah.
And get a W, get 3 points at home in front of their fan base.
Yeah, and that's my bad. I forgot. With them versus Red Bull, they actually did get the goal in the opening game.
Oh, they did?
Yep, so they get a 2 home leg to kick off the season, which is great. So they'll be back in front of the fans again. That's just nice and easy for them. Cincy going to have to travel to a very different climate
for sure
and play early on in the season. But hey, it's cooler now. So if you got to go to Florida, I guess maybe the earlier, the better.
That's very true.
All right, Austin needs a bounce back. Holy smokes. They are taking on Montreal at home. Again, there's really no other result that's going to be good enough other than Austin with all 3 points.
Agreed. Montreal, not a, I guess, favorite for playoffs, or not a team that people are expecting a lot out of. However, Austin, everybody is expecting to be the 1 or 2 seed in the West, and I believe they really need 3 points. I think they come away with 3 points in this one as well.
They have to.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it comes down to. If they lose to St. Louis City FC, SC, and then they come back and lose to Montreal CF or CF Montreal, even drop points, even if you draw against this one, 1 point after 2 games against a newly promoted and what everyone kind of considers to be a weaker team. It's not going to go well. Pressure's going to be on. Isn't it Josh Wolf, the manager?
Yes.
Right away.
Yep.
So avoid that. Take care of business and move on.
And I'm sure they will.
Welcome to the league, Chicago. Your first game of the season.
Yes.
They're going to be at home to New York City FC, taking on at Soldier Field, one of the many NFL stadiums in this league. We said New York City FC did not look good in their game against Nashville. But I guess maybe an advantage that they have 90 minutes under their belt when Chicago do not.
Absolutely. Especially being away from home for their second game. I think that this is an opportunity for both teams to get 3 points. Obviously, Chicago being the home team, New York, this is an opportunity for them to kind of get their season going after, a poor performance, I'm going to say.
It was just limp. There wasn't a lot there.
It was a flat performance.
Yeah.
I think that this is an opportunity for them to go to a
division last in the power rankings
to a rival. I don't want to say rival, maybe a division conference rival, and
get the result.
Yeah, get the result.
Do something
that I think that they need.
Yeah, get some momentum behind yourself. Dallas at home to LA Galaxy. Again, first game for LA Galaxy. El Tráfico pushed off because of the storms. Dallas, after losing 1-0, like we said, to Minnesota, they're home again. So again, they get to be at home, sleep in bed for 2 weeks.
An advantage.
LA coming in. LA may be good, maybe not. I think they just made a right back signing because Araujo went to Barcelona. Yep. They still have El Chicharito. I mean, no Beckham, no Zlatan, been a bit. Like
no Donovan.
The Galacticos are gone from Galaxy, so they have to find this new identity.
Yeah, they do. And last year, I don't think was their best season in the last 4 or 5 years. That said, I think that they have very good players. I think that this will definitely be a game to watch during the 7:30 block.
Well, it looks like once we get to 7:30, pretty much all the games are behind the paywall, so you'll have to check that out. St. Louis City, this is going to be their home opener in the MLS. They're taking on Charlotte, who packed the house. They had almost 70,000 people in Charlotte. They played at the Panther Stadium and lost.
They did, yes.
Right, to the Revs, which we talked about. So they are going to be desperate to bounce back. I don't know, though. I think I'm kind of leaning towards St. Louis finding a result in this one because they're at home. I mean, that place is going to be electric.
I agree. I think the atmosphere is going to be incredible, and I think that they will definitely be able to find a way to grind out a result at home.
Mm-hmm. And they after beating Austin, one of the predictable teams to go to the playoffs and make a run, it'd be fantastic. I mean, 4 points after 2 games would be wild for them, let alone 6.
Agreed.
Colorado at home to Kansas City. So you said, hey, this is a chance. Season starts now. We're forgetting that one. Kansas City obviously didn't have their best day out, for their home opener. Taking on Portland. They weren't played off the park, but they're going to have to stay on the road again, play at altitude.
Yeah.
Well, what's that like rolling into Colorado?
It's tough.
It's very tangible, the difference there?
Yes, definitely. The ball flies differently. Breathing in altitude is much more difficult.
Can confirm.
And as you are running for 90 minutes, covering 5 to 10 miles, depending on the position, it is very difficult to adjust to that if you're not used to it. So I think that this will be a very good game. Obviously, a very difficult game for both teams just because Colorado had a tough start. Kansas City lost their first game. And they're playing away in a climate that's very different to just about everything.
Look, Colorado needs all the home points they can get this season the way it goes. So if you got an advantage, take it. Run with the altitude, Colorado. Second to last game is San Jose at home to Vancouver. Not a lot really going for either team after the opening weekend. To be fair, San Jose had the lead, and then it just all kind of went the other way for them. Vancouver obviously had the lead and fell apart to Real Salt Lake. 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Bounce back time. San Jose at home.
Yeah. I think that this is going to be a very good game. Obviously, maybe not as explosive or as entertaining as some of the other games might be. However, I think it will be a very close or well matched game.
Yeah.
And based on everything that I'm hearing out of Vancouver's camp right now is that they're feeling good. Obviously, they had 5 bad minutes and they conceded 2 goals. That said, it's their first game on the road. San Jose is a very different climate to Vancouver, and hopefully, for me, I'm pulling for Vancouver. That said, San Jose has the home field advantage.
Yeah, I think to your point, they're very evenly matched teams, so you would think it would be a good game just because of the levels that both of them are at.
Agreed, yes.
All right,
Yes.
last one up of the weekend. Again, every game on Saturday. Seattle at home to Real Salt Lake. Probably used to be a bigger matchup than it is today. Seattle emphatic with their victory. Real Salt Lake squeaking it out on the road at Vancouver. You've talked about Seattle at home. Good luck, Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, I agree. I think Seattle comes flying out of the gates again, and it's a tough game for Salt Lake. That said, Pablo Mascheroni will have them set up very well and probably be looking to steal a result or walk away with a point. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, I think that's a very obvious tactic when you're going to go to Seattle, at Philly, at
Yes.
Austin.
Yeah.
You want to set up to absorb, defend, and try to get away with a point. If you can get a point at those places, you're going to be happy, and you would assume that Real Salt Lake are going to set up with that in mind.
Yeah.
So look, rosters are still settling. There's still some changes going on, but they're still looking to find cohesion and chemistry amongst them. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Again,
Me too.
No crazy predictions from us. We're just providing context and analysis and seeing what we think is going to happen. And look, week 1 was amazing. I expect week 2 to be as exciting.
I do too. I think it's going to be very entertaining, and hopefully it lives up to everything that week 1 was.
Again, Apple TV season pass. A lot of them are free as well. If you just want to get into it, get your friends into it. It's going to be a good season. We'll maybe not be back with match reviews. That's on me. I'm going to London, so we'll figure out how we can make it work. But if not, we'll definitely be back to preview week 3. That's it, Cody. I'm excited. You've got a lot of soccer. Block your calendar.
Yes, a lot of soccer.
Yes.
A lot of soccer. Soccer Saturdays.
Let's see. What is it again?
MLS Saturdays.
It's I don't remember. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon until like 11:30 at night by the time the games end. So a
lot of soccer.
Full shift in there.
All right. Full palette of games.
Again, if you could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would help us a lot. We're on Instagram and TikTok. Check us out there. But anyways, we're out. Enjoy week 3. We'll be posting about the games on Instagram. But until then, we're out. Have a great weekend.